Hello everybody, welcome to Fruitful Trees. Today we are talking about a winter fruit here in South Florida that some varieties will actually produce in the summer as well, up to 3 times a year. But it is the prime season for Sapodilla, also known as Níspero and Chico. And we have several different varieties here. And this is a fruit that I have a love-hate relationship with. I love Sapodilla, the flavor. But what I don't love is you can't really make a meal out of it usually. It's usually more like a snack because it doesn't always ripen at the same time. And you know me that my goal is to have meals, not snacks. So it's challenging to keep this tree. But every time I get a fruit and I taste how good it is, I'm like, how in the world can I get rid of this tree? But this is a very popular fruit here in South Florida, also in the Caribbean and countries around the world. In Asia, it's a popular fruit. And it's a little complicated to know how to pick it or when to pick it. But when you get a ripe one, it is absolutely delicious. And different varieties will do different things. There are some smaller varieties out there like Salis Wood or Molex. And those are the smaller varieties. And you could even grow them in a pot. And then some other varieties can get really big, but you can keep them small, like this variety here. This variety is probably one of the best tasting, in my opinion, and also everyone's opinion, one of the most popular varieties called Lolano. And the fruit is kind of a smaller to medium size on this tree, but it's prolific every year. This tree does amazing. And the thing is, it will grow big, but you can cut it back and keep it the size of a bush if you want to. So I put mine right in front of my house because when I was strategically planning my house, I wanted to put something that somebody couldn't just take all of them and enjoy all of them at the same time. Maybe it would deter them away from taking them. So that's why I put these here, each at one entrance of my driveway. So this particular one I said is Alano. And again, you would see this and you wouldn't think it's ready. It's not ready, and it will ripen off the tree if you pick it at the right time. But if you don't pick it at the right time, it won't ripen off the tree. Now, how do you pick these off the tree? I'm going to show you some other varieties, but there's 3 ways to tell. One way is you can scratch it. And when you scratch it, if it shows up green, it's usually not ready. It has to show up kind of a brownish color. And you can really only know when that is when you get used to doing it. So if you want to practice doing that, and you start picking some and they ripen good, then it's time to pick. Another way to pick it is to feel it. These normally, when they're not ready, will have a sandy type of feel, but when they're ready, that sandy type feel will kind of get a little bit more smooth. But the real way to pick it is the way I've learned, and it's much harder to do this with a big tree, but with a tree this size, it's fine. You shake the tree. And those that are ready to come off will actually fall. And now if you do that over cement, it might break on the ground. But if you do it over grass, if the tree's in grass, it's fine. And it's a great way. And some of the ones that fall off are just about to turn ripe. And many of the ones that fall off are definitely ripe. So as hard as it is to shake a big tree, if you have a big tree, what I recommend is getting up there with a ladder and shaking it. And they'll fall. So this is... one of the best tasting fruits. Again, well, I guess it's good that you can't overeat it because it's one of the sweetest fruits. But like I said, you're going to get a handful maybe at most, but usually one at a time because they don't often ripen the same day. They ripen at the same time, but not the same day. But that's an Alano. I definitely, I'm unsure. Real estate for a tree is not easy around here, so I think I'm going to keep it, but if something better comes along and I need a spot that I feel might do good in the front of the house, like a white sapote or something, this might be a candidate to go. I'm not talking against it. I love this. But we got to just consider what we have and what we want. So this is another variety that I have here. And this one is probably the most sought after variety that not a lot of people have. I feel blessed to have 2 of these varieties. This is a butterscotch variety. This one is supposed to grow super big in size of tree and also in the fruit. Not as much is known about this one. This is the newer of varieties that are out there, and it's the Big Rave. I just tasted one the other day, and it was completely different than any other sapodilla I ever had. I would say most likely better, more of a caramel flavor. But like I said, I love them all. They're all great. The downside of this one is it's not supposed to produce as much as like the Alano, but the fruit is double the size. So even though you're getting maybe half the size of the amount, the fruit's double the size. So you can make a meal out of these. So this one looks like a winner here. Again, you still can't get many at one time. So I've had one at a time come off, and it's not known to be the best producer. Again, we'll see how it goes. It's not my number one fruit only because it's not really a meal as much as it is a snack food. Now, in choosing the different varieties, at one time I had many more varieties, but for said reasons I had gotten rid of them. But this was the first variety I got at this house, and still one of my best. This one's called Maycock. And this Maycock variety, the fruit is super big. So it's small here, but when they're ready, they're super big. And these are almost like red inside. I love the flavor of this. They're really big. I'm very impressed with this fruit. But to be honest, I'm going to shake it now and see if any fall. No. I've never tasted a sapodilla that I didn't like. So there you see all the ones hanging on that. And I try to keep all my trees on the smaller side because I know from that angle it looks tall, but it's not. I try to keep all my trees on the taller side, the shorter side for hurricane purposes. And yeah, I'll go ahead and taste my butterscotch with my neighbor here in a little while. And if you're looking for a tree, all of the local nurseries have these. The butterscotch one is hard to find though. That one is not an easy one to find. Now my neighbor, he has 2 sapodilla trees. And he has the Alano, which is much bigger than mine and much older than mine. And he also has Molex. So we'll take a look at his trees right here. All right, here's his Molex tree. And this is a dwarf tree. It grows super small and the fruit is super small. But it fruits really well. You get a lot of fruit off of this. If you're looking for one in a pot, this would be the one, Molex. And there you go. Like I said, they stay pretty small, the fruit. And that tree is just as old as that Alano tree. And look at it, the size. But that's his Molex tree. And here is his Alano. Same tree I just showed you, but much taller, double the size of mine. And don't be fooled by that in the background, that's another tree. But they can get that high, but this stops over here. And I think as the tree gets bigger, the fruit actually might stay small and possibly. But this fruits more than once a year, it fruits, so that's nice. But again, my challenge is with a beautiful space like that. If you have the space, it's a wonderful tree. But if you don't have the space, there might be something better you could put there if you like other fruits better. Now, he has a butterscotch in the middle here that he grafted from one of my trees, and it's been there a long time, and it hasn't done much. They are slow growers, the butterscotch variety. So it hasn't done much. Now we're coming here to Mango Land, and I want to show you this one. This is another butterscotch tree that I have. And this one is a little bit smaller than the other one. It hasn't fruited yet. And this one is a candidate also to be moved if it doesn't produce much better because I need the space. But that's a butterscotch that hasn't produced yet, but it's going to produce any day now. Just look. So we'll see how that does. That's butterscotch. Now I have one more tree to show you. I got this tree from another property that I used to live at, and I moved this tree successfully. So I don't know the history about moving these type of trees, but this one I was able to move successfully. I don't know the variety of this one, But this is, I think it's a brown sugar variety called brown sugar. So I'm really excited because since I moved this, it's been in the ground here maybe 3 years. I really haven't gotten any fruit off of it yet, but this year there seems to be a bunch of fruit on there, so we'll have to do a tasting when that happens. So that's that one. I hope this video blessed you and you learned some information. If you're considering getting one of these trees and you have the space for them, I would recommend it. I do recommend not letting them get too tall because they can definitely get out of hand. And if you don't have the space, even having a dwarf variety in a pot is worth having this tree just for the exceptional flavor. It's really good. And great trees to plant on your front of your houses if you live in a high foot area, traffic area like I do, because I think this is a safe one. People aren't going to take over the tree as quickly as they would like a mango tree or something else. If you're growing Sapodilla or you have a flavored one, a variety that you love best, let me know what it is. I'd love to know. Put it in the comments below. If you have any opinions or comments about this video. Until then, everybody, thank you for watching. Have a great day and keep growing.